Hello, welcome to the staff development video for screen capture and video upload for the purposes of classroom inversion. Those of you watching this video have expressed an interest in inverting your classroom, and this video will show you some of the processes necessary for getting what you do on your computer to be on a site that your students can view. This video is a model of the classroom inversion process, and you will be expected to be familiar with what is demonstrated for the upcoming staff training session. The first thing you will need is software to capture your screen in video format, and there are several options available. On the screen you can see that HyperCam is one option. It's freeware. Another option that's freeware is Cam Studio. If you have a smart board, then it's possible that you have Smart Notebook software, and Smart Notebook also has its own screen recording device. It's very simple to use. However, we won't be demonstrating that in this video since not everyone has a smartboard or a smart notebook. Alright, for this video we will be demonstrating HyperCam. So if we look at HyperCam, it's freeware. There are links on the page, hyperionics.com/HC. You can find this just by typing HyperCam into any search engine and it'll return this result. So if you would click on a link, it's a basic download process. Like I said, there's many links on this page. There is also a paid version which is a little bit more powerful, but for the most part, HyperCam itself is easy enough to use and has high enough quality that you can use it for classroom purposes. Alright, if you need help with the download process, we can work on that during the training session. But it is very basic, and if you follow the instructions you should have no problem doing it. So once you download HyperCam, what do you get? Well, let's take a look. Right now I'm recording using HyperCam, so my window may look slightly different than what you get when you're looking at it. If you notice, it has a button here that says stop recording. If I click that, it will stop this video right now, so I don't want to do that. If you haven't started recording this or recording a video yet, that button will say start recording. Alright, so if you look at the screen, there's a few things that you can do, and it's all pretty self-explanatory. If you play around a little bit with it, you should be able to become very familiar with what to do. Now the first tab in this screen is called Screen Area, and it has Cartesian coordinates. 0, 0 starts at the upper left-hand corner, and then the width 1364 is in this direction, and the height 768 is in this direction. The easiest way to get these numbers is to click Select Region, and it'll give you a crosshairs that you can drag across your screen to set the size that you want. You can also have it just record a certain window that you have open, depending on what application you want to use. Okay. There are several other options here. You can show a rectangle around the recorded area, which when I show you a video you'll see. You can have it so that HyperCam window, this window stays open. I had this deselected because when I hit start recording I wanted that to disappear. I didn't want it to show up on my screen. I iconize HyperCam window to the taskbar. That's down here. You can see that it's here. If you need to get to it, you can click on that to open it back up. And then you can also have it hide HyperCam window if you want. Alright. So there's also another option here, capture layered and transparent windows. This may slow down performance. It's not really necessary to have this clicked. Most of the time you're going to want to be recording what you're looking at on your screen, not necessarily what's underneath. You can pause the recording in the middle. You can stop recording altogether. If you need to take a break or show something, hit pause and then you can start up again. It should save it in the same video. The next tab is called Hotkeys, and in the Hotkeys you can use your keyboard shortcuts in order to start and stop recording, to pause recording, or to just take a single frame shot in pause mode. And it'll save that file as an image somewhere. Alright. I don't use these. I'll be clicking on these so you can see very clearly what I'm doing. You can use these if you'd like, if you become more familiar with it. You can also click on these and choose which buttons you would like to use for these operations. Okay. You can also do some more special things here. It says pan the capture area when the mouse is moved and the following keys are pressed. If you press Control Shift right now, you can slide the screen over to be looking at different parts of the screen that you want to see. Alright, now the output of HyperCam is an AVI file, and you can put it wherever you want. In this case, this file is being downloaded or being recorded and saved in this location. If you want to change that somewhere else, you would click Browse for File Name, and it'll bring up a window, and you can choose any location. I suggest using maybe the desktop or some folder that you can get to easy so that you can upload these videos later without much problems. This button allows you to open the folder right away that your videos are saved in, so it's not really that big of a deal if you're in the HyperCam program. You can change the frame rate to make obviously the higher that the frame rate is, the smoother your video will be. Of course, also the larger it will be. So there's a balance between how pretty everything looks and how big of a video you want to have and how much memory and storage you have. Alright, there are several different video compressors that you can use. They recommend to do the auto select. I usually just leave this alone. Now, since I'm recording right now, you might be wondering why I'm not clicking on any of these. I can't. It will not let me change these as this is recording. Okay, let's move on. Sound. You have several different sound options. I'm using a headset with a microphone to do this. If you have a laptop with a built-in microphone, you can use that. But you will need some way of recording sound if sound is something that you want. Alright, that's pretty much all we need to know to get through the basics of this. When you have an idea for what you want to record and you have it ready to go on your screen, you would click this button, which would say Start Recording, and this window will disappear, and you will begin, of course, recording whatever you do on your screen. Okay, I'm going to close this window, and I'm going to open up something that I have already saved to give you an idea of what your video may look like. I have this video right here. I saved it on my desktop, so it's easy to see. I already have it open in Windows Media Player, so I'll click that down here, and you can see here's an example of a video. Okay, we don't need to watch the whole video. The purpose of this is not to learn how to program, it's to learn how to record your screen and upload it to YouTube. Alright, so once you have a video like this that you've recorded, the next step is to be able to get it on the web for your students to see. The site that I choose is YouTube because it's very, very easy for anybody to get an account and to upload and be able to access videos this way. So what you'll need is an account, and if you don't have one, when you go onto YouTube for the first time, there'll be a link up here that says create an account. You can click that link and go through the instructions step by step, and it'll create an account for you. That's really kind of outside the scope of what we're going to be doing. If you need help doing this, we can of course work on it during the training session that's coming up. Alright, so once you've made your YouTube account, you'll need to upload a video. So right at the top of the YouTube account, there's a link called Upload. Click on that, and it'll bring you to the upload screen. Now, looking at this is not a very complex screen. It's actually very, very easy to use. The big red arrow, if you want to upload something, that's where you're going to click. There's a button here that says Select Files from your computer. So you have to have your video saved already, and then you can click and find that video. Now, if you remember, I told you that my video was saved on the desktop. So I click on the desktop in my Windows file system, and I scroll down. It was called For Loop, so we scroll down until we find it, we select it, and we click Open. Alright, so what happens then is your video gets uploaded to YouTube, and they will check it to see if there's any kind of copyright infringement or other things that might be problems with it. And while that's going on, what you can do is you can take a look at the info and privacy screen here, and this comes up automatically. This is actually very, very important to look at because you decide who can view your video here, you decide who can find your video, you can decide whether or not anybody will be commenting on your video, and all these steps take place in this window. Alright, so the first thing we want to do is we want to talk about a title, and now that was just a title for the video that I had that made it easy for me to find it, but you might want something a little more professional for your students. So I'm going to name this for loop in JavaScript. So now I have a nice title. Now, if you've ever watched a YouTube video, you notice that there's a title, and then underneath there's a description of the video, and that's something that you can put in. And very shortly, I'll just put in a quick sentence here: demonstration. Oops, I wish I could spell. Demonstration of a basic for loop in JavaScript. Now, tags on a video are how, when people put in searches in the search bar on YouTube or even on Google or some other search engine, the tags are what show up. So if they put a word in their search bar that is one of your tags, your video will show up in their search somewhere. And so what we want to do is we want to put in appropriate tags so that if people are looking for a video that they can actually find it. And so one tag is, if this is for school purposes, you can always put in education. That's a good tag. Now, education is fairly loose on the internet. You can get some strange things if you put in just education in a search bar, but that's one tag. Another tag that we could put in is for loop, because that's what we were doing in this video. We can put in JavaScript. Anything else that you think might make a word that people might look for to find this video. Alright, you can also then come over here and choose a category. We can, of course, this is education, so we can put education there. That's where we want it to be. There's many categories here that you can do. You know, if this is computer programming, it might be a link to gaming. If you're into music or whatever category this is in, you should select. Alright, now privacy here, this is a really, really important thing to look at. There is a help bubble here. You can click on that. It can tell you what this is about. If you want everyone in the world to be able to see your video, public is what you would click. Google and YouTube, of course, they want information sharing. That's their whole thing. So they recommend that you make a video public so everybody can see it. Now, you may not want everyone to be able to see it. So you have a few choices if you don't want everyone to see it, and that is, you can make it an unlisted video, which is where you'll get the link and you can send the link out. Now, this may be something that you want to do with your classes. You can get a link and then you can email it to your students or post it on your webpage so only they will see it. Or you can make it private, where you will be sent some sort of notification if somebody wants to view your video, and you can either okay it or deny it. Alright, now a standard YouTube license. In the age of SOPA and PIPA, we got to be very, very careful about copyright infringement, and anything that we do, we need to worry about copyright infringement. And so a standard YouTube license just means that this is all your stuff and that you're not infringing on anybody's copyright. You can also click on Creative Commons Attribution License, which means that there is something that you have used from Creative Commons that's okay to use, and you're using it without the type of permission that you would need to use some sort of copyrighted material. For this video, I just used a screen capture of a website. I didn't use any copyrighted material. I won't be breaking any laws. This one should be okay. Alright. Now, apparently, they say that this video is taking longer than expected, so my video has been queued and we process as soon as possible. Sometimes this can take a long time, depending on how busy their servers are, depending on how long everything else is. It looks like this has 55 minutes left to go. So what we'll do is now I'll come back here to HyperCam. What I'll do is I'll pause the recording, and then I'll pick it back up again when everything here is complete. Alright, so we've gotten back to the place now. The video is finished being uploaded. You can see here that it says upload complete with a little star next to it. It gives you a URL that you can find it with. It gives you a couple choices. You can watch it. If you want to share it, you can share it on Facebook or Twitter or however you want to. You can edit the video if you would like. You can go back to all your videos and manage them. You can add more videos from here. There's all kinds of things. Basically what it takes is just a little bit of play time, and just to look and see what you would like to see, or what you would like to do, or whatever changes you would like to make. Alright, so I'm going to change my tags just a little bit, so it wouldn't give me the example tag that it had there. Alright, so now it's saved. I have my video. If I want to see how my video turned out, I can just hit watch, and my video should come up. Alright, so no problem. There's our videos up. We can certainly share this now. We have a web address that we can use to share it with our students. We can copy and paste that URL in an email. We can just have our students take a look at what's going on. Alright, that's just about all there is for uploading the video to YouTube. It's a very, very simple process. Sometimes it takes a little patience. This took me about 45 minutes or so. I think maybe a little longer for this to upload all the way. But now it's uploaded, everything's there. It's ready for my students to see. Now, when I'm in this screen, I can use these to change certain things on my video. I can edit the information about the video. I can edit the video itself. YouTube has a really, really nice video editor. It's very simple. It's a little bit outside of what we need to do for this training, but you're certainly welcome to play around with anything that YouTube has to offer. It's a really, really user-friendly website. Okay, so that's just about all you're going to need to know for our training. If you take a look at this next screen, this is what you're going to need to bring when you show up for the training. You need to have an idea for a video that you would use for in your inverted classroom. Bring your teacher laptop with you so that we can get the proper things downloaded if you don't have them or haven't had the ability to get those or need help with those. And bring a flash drive for transferring video files and downloads to your computer, or for whatever other information transfer purposes you might have. Well, that's all there is. Looking forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks at our staff training. And again, make sure you have that idea that you would use in your classroom so that this can be a meaningful experience for you, and you can see how easy it's going to be to invert your classroom. Thank you very much.